Welcome once again to the Real Talk. As usual, my name is Emmanuel Lama. Today I am solo. Well, I won't go into the details of why she's not here, but we definitely miss her, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, it's singular.
I think you more.
Yeah.
But also we miss her on the set.
That's a politician response. Yeah, but let me have us each introduce ourselves, I think.
Yes.
Where did you raise your hand?
Yes, it felt.
I'm Constantine.
Yeah.
I also host the Needed Report on this channel, TESOL Hub. I'm a politician. I'm a married man.
Okay.
And I do restaurants. So that is pretty much it.
I thought you were going to say I do signs and wonders.
No. Maybe also I'm always driven by conspiracy.
Oh.
I look into.
Well, I'm Tumusime, and I'm glad to be here.
And why don't you? Okay, I was just going to say, why don't you just go ahead and dive us in? Because today's show is a bit also unique. I mean, it's men only.
Yeah.
Normally, two things come to mind when people see men gathered together. It's either football, or money, and what else? Women.
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 About women.
But also senseless arguments. Really. I'm telling you, men can argue. You know, there's a time I argued with someone for almost like how many hours, and we're arguing about the difference between a soap and a series. What's the difference?
Soap never ends, and it's for women.
Oh, wow. You see, now someone will say something.
I think we need to move into the main talk. So yeah, Corden Tumu, why don't you take us on?
Yeah, so we, I think everybody that is watching right now has seen at least the story that has been on Twitter trending about South Africa, a bill being proposed that allows polyandry. For those of you who don't know, we are just flashing that on the screen, and polyandry is where a woman can take two husbands. Oh, you know, we keep on saying two. I don't know why in our head we just say two. It's actually, it can be four.
Elvis is so attentive.
He loves this topic.
Yeah. And since I think the reason why Lama is allowing me to moderate is because I think I'm the one who has like a sickest brain. So like I have an eye for these
So
things.
I pass for that.
You know, I have like an eye for these things. Everyone who watches my status updates, like on WhatsApp or what, I just have an eye for, I don't even know how I find them. So this is where we are. South Africa, when the polygamy thing had never made headlines, men having two wives, it was like not a big deal, because maybe from how we have been seeing life, we have always assumed that can happen. Yeah. But then now the ladies are saying we don't want to miss out on the action. If I have 4 men and I like them all and I can have a way of making it work, then why can't I have 4 husbands? And if it's a bill being proposed, you can't tell me that it's only ladies, because the lawmakers are both ladies and men. So that means that there are also some men who feel like would have 2 co-husbands, 4 co-husbands.
There's a lot of men who have been victim to
And what?
being beaten by other men
Unsanctioned sharing.
Remember our Jerome? Was it?
Yeah. He knows a lot about this topic. Yeah. So basically, I think we're going to just be passing around getting opinions. This is what Minion said. So I wanted us to open with our opinions about this. And in my opinion is that there's a part of me that feels it is anti the feminine and masculine psychologies, right? In how I look at it, right? I think that for a relationship, why men tend to be more the polygamy works for men, and for ladies it's a bit hard, is that it's like ladies are more detailed, they need more attention, they need a lot of assurances, a lot of securities, and it's like men do the providing. So it's like it's easy for men to provide for different people and not get that, I don't know, like it can be easy for them, the masculine psychology, in like how I think about it. But then like also I would think that men have been doing this unofficially. We find men have one woman and they know each other, that they're sharing this woman, but for some reason they just keep quiet. Also, I know men who are in relationships with married women. Right?
You already know them. Yeah.
I know, we know that, actually all of us. So it's like I would want to, like, if I'm being honest, it's like I can't say, oh, that's so unheard of. You get? So it's like from how society works, I've seen that. But in society, we tend to execute marriage based on culture and faith. And faith is pretty much, I've not seen anything from faith where maybe from let's say spirituality, like Muslims or Christians. I've not seen anywhere where that has happened in maybe the books of faith or where that. So that is that whole thing of it. People don't even know the spiritual stand on it. For polygamy, we have seen polygamous things. Muslims, the Muslim faith, they accept it. The Christianity, I've seen cases of it, but according to the New Testament, it's like also that not like you're not supposed to be polygamous. So I think from that standpoint, it seems to be like polygamy and polyandry both are wrong. So now other people are interpreting it based on the social construct. So life, society is evolving. Nothing is as it how it was. So Constantine, now your opinion.
Now, this is a tragedy. Yeah, because yeah, it is a tragedy because they would die in their own movie, and why I think
Who are they?
The esteemed women who want to marry more males will die in their own movie because how it can't work. This is like really horrible. It's like a horrible movie because what you're talking about earlier, you're saying that. We all know, because we are not naive, we all know there are men who share women. And they know. But they are quiet. And why they are quiet is that they know it can't be a context of marriage. Because marriage includes a lot of things. For example, there could be childbirth. Others can marry for companionship. Others can marry for identity, for security. Someone can say, I got married to this guy because because he can take care of me. So now, when it comes to marry, like the women...
I'm really surprised about you talked about love, but okay.
Yes.
Like really? Like, the reasons is that love?
Now, these days...
It's supposed to be too obvious.
It's probably too obvious. So, and women have issues with sharing love. But why I say it will be a tragedy is that when a woman to marry a man in a legal, recognizable relationship by the state, it means that those men have to be under the protection, the provision of the woman, physically, economically, psychologically.
The woman is the head of the home.
Yeah, now, don't get this one mixed up. This is a straight bang to two things. Patriarchy, they want patriarchy gone. Matriarchy to take over.
Well, what's wrong with that? They will say that, what if they argue that we have had enough time with the patriarchy now?
You see, that's why I always get a problem with people who try to go against the norm. Like they say they're tired of the patriarchy. But when a woman is going out on a date and the guy lives on the restaurant and does not accompany her home, so this guy is not serious. I could get robbed.
Because it doesn't feel natural.
It doesn't feel natural.
So Elvis, there's something that Constantine says, right?
Yes.
Of what is natural, right? And I think all of us have had those moments. I mean, come on, you can't wake up your wife and you're like, go and check who's knocking on that door. It's like, that's small things that make you know that much as we are trying to say that maybe we see the world in a new light.
What if she's mad?
Oh wow! Well, maybe she's a boxer, you know. Oh, like it's so awkward for you. Like you see a girl, and then when you're trying to hit on a girl, you're like, "Can you come pick me and take me out?" It's like, no, that's like a masculine thing, right? But then there's another thing Constantine said, where he said that women can probably women cannot share men, and men can have more women. And I feel like maybe we'll just start from that point. Me, I would want to think that actually women have proven that they can be okay with a man having more partners than men are okay with that. It's like when you cheat on a man gets broken. Even men who have 3 wives, when he hears that one of the wives is sleeping with somebody else, he shouts, yet he has 3 wives. For you, can continue on that point. For you, what do you make of it?
Away from the marriage beat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In simple dating.
Yeah.
These days,
Yeah.
it's actually quite a lot common that you find in a relationship. Most times the girl will suggest that you date, but you're not exclusive. You're able to see other people.
Relationship.
Yep, and it's actually no.
Like she tells you straight
Yeah,
up.
like we're dating, but
They're not exclusive.
you can see someone else, and I can see someone else as well.
But she actually tells you that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, girls actually do that.
Yeah.
And it's a thing. It's an open relationship. Let's say that. Yeah. Let's say call it an open relationship.
What if you know the other person that she's dating?
You can know.
And even when you meet him in public, you have.
Yeah, you're not going to
Like
do
you
anything
have-
about it because you've agreed that okay, now you'll know that okay, the both of us we're dating this girl together. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, that is there today, like with us.
So you feel like if it even like let's say we accept it for dating. Like if one day you reach that age of marriage, wouldn't you want exclusiveness? Or wouldn't you want you to be exclusive with a woman?
Yeah, I'd love the exclusivity with my woman.
Yeah.
That's why I cannot manage such a relationship. Yeah, I personally can't.
You know you can.
I'm too emotional for that shit.
Okay,
I can't.
but
I
you
honestly can't. But there's people that can manage.
This is a real talk. You can't curse.
Oh, you know what? Let's bring in Lama, right?
I think, has he finished making his point on it?
Yeah, so personally I can't, I wouldn't, but I wouldn't also go against it.
Oh, you would think if someone is okay with it?
Yeah.
Progressiveness.
The fellow hasn't tried, he had
Yeah,
finished.
there was a tag in the voice.
So yeah, if a lady sees that she can manage, like from all the points you mentioned, the psychological bit, the economical bit, all of that. Because now me knowing that me and my woman, there's another man who is also in the mix. You're not going to start telling me to always like maybe pay the bills. I'll be like, what about the other guy? You understand? Make sure she caters. Make sure that okay, both sides are actually doing something and we're balanced and not.
Yeah. Now to bring in Lama, this Lama, you're a parent.
Yeah.
So right now, I feel that maybe this is when you're a parent. Maybe for you already, you're exclusive. You're doing what? But then we are living in a world where the children that we are raising up, in one way or the other, they will never. We can't help them from being exposed to this whole sort of lifestyle. Because I think that an issue like this, there is like a cutoff point whereby maybe a generation before a particular time, pretty much they have their mind made up. I think there is a group. There's an age where you start from and going up. A lot of people will be like, no. But then we are raising children who are going to grow up in a world where these are things you have to consider. So now the question I wanted to bring to you is, so how then do you raise a child? Do you raise a child telling them that something like this is normal? Do you let them decide on their own? Or like, what do you enforce? Or do you keep quiet about it? How do you even deal with this being there in society now?
Well, I think first of all, this whole thing feels like an app. Like someone is trying to make an app for marriage.
Yeah.
So you have to bring in all this. But back to parenting anyhow. I think for me, parenting is now more challenging in a sense that, first of all, we are living in a very fast-paced life, which is very demanding on the parent. Yet at the same time, it's a very dynamic world for the children. So then how do you strike a balance where you're a present parent, yet at the same time be able to provide and be able to cater for these needs? I think that's the question every parent is trying to answer now. For me, why is that even more crucial? Because there's how do I translate it into English here? Akatikini kwa kachirikato. It's shaping shaping a child's mindset and values and all these things, they are better shaped when they are really young. So when that's missed, they are going to be shaped anyway from a different place, not your home. So shaping the values is like the safety net. Okay? Building up these values when the children are still younger will be the safety net for them. Because I mean, we're even talking about parenting, but there's a possibility that you won't be here. You know, you for you know, maybe death or whatever, you're not there. Number two, the reality of boarding school, you want, so you can't police a child. So the only way to put a safety net around your child is instill values when they are still at a tender age. But instilling these values needs you being present.
I needed to bring something up, and as you're finishing your point, right? So I know everyone who watches the show, The Real Talk, knows that you use the biblical teaching to navigate morality and discipline, right? Now, a lot of people who always propose things like that, like let's say this whole thing of polyandry, they tend to make this argument that us, like if let's say that our generation right now, to generations that existed hundreds of years ago, we would look like, to them, we would look like how these people that are proposing these things look to us. I don't know if I'm making a point. For example, right now, for us, it's normal to have a woman president. It's normal to go to work and your boss is a woman. In America, it is normal to have a black police officer arrest a white man who is breaking the law. All these things are normal. But when you go to 100 years before, even a black person looking in the eyes of a white man when he's speaking, that would be considered criminal. You would have to look down for discipline. A woman raising her voice, that would be considered like you're big-headed. Why don't you listen? Why don't you know your place? So people feel that there is always that initial shock when something is changing, but they make the case that in 100 years for children who grow up and they are seeing their mom has three husbands, it would be almost as not much as a big deal, like when you're interacting with your friend and he tells that their father had many children. Yeah. So how do you make peace with that? What makes you feel like, what informs you that maybe if given a chance it can work out or it will fail? For you, what do you use as a compass for that?
First of all, it's at the end of the day, there's a human being in a communal setup, okay? Where things like laws are made because human beings are meant to live as a community, okay? But at the same time, there's a human being as an individual, okay? So for me, I think the problem has been where part of a bit, I don't want to put it on him on spot, but where he says there's this whole thinking that I might not necessarily believe in it, but that's okay with me still. Okay? This whole thinking of, okay, we should respect someone's independent thinking.
What's your thought on that?
So for me, my thought is then we are saying Evan is a leader. Okay, it's not realistic. We are saying yes, we are saying everyone has a right to be a leader of society. Okay, but then how then do you govern? How does the community run?
If everybody,
if you're saying
there's no common
yes, if you're saying that's okay, even when I don't believe, you're saying they have some good measure of leadership on the community as a whole. But for me, I'm like, there has to be right and wrong. And the right and wrong is there has to be a leader moderating the right and wrong for the society. So for me, I feel as if the real agenda behind that whole innocent phrase, which is really should be the case, of you're supposed to respect someone's opinion. But I think not in the context of a community. A community has to have leadership. A community has to have direction. a community has, I mean, think of it something like a birth certificate, okay, like a driving permit. On the surface, it's where you have to, you sort of like need permission from the government to give birth.
Oh yeah.
you need permission to drive a car.
Yeah,
You need marriage certificate. It's illegal or illegal. Marriage license. So for me, I think the whole idea is the problem came in when it's sort of like the war, the dysfunctionality of leadership that is bringing the chaos. Leadership, for someone to lead, they need authority, okay? But authority is meant to serve, not to rule, not to control, but instead of fixing the leadership question, we are trying to fix society without leadership, okay? And it's very interesting for me when it comes to Africa. Why? Africa has been under a safety net of the whole idea of the extended family. Okay, the extended family has like shielded it over the years, where there is a community, there is orderliness, the elders are respected, and all this. But now we're being pushed into where you have. Why this conversation is very important is because now if you have a nucleus family and there is no safety net for the extended family, then it's the leadership is on you now as the leader of the home. When you don't provide leadership, then the society, which is really largely under a broken leadership, is going to lead this child. So while back then you'd survive without necessarily having leadership in a nucleus family, you'd have the safety net of the extended family. But now as parents, as men, we have to think about these things because more than ever our leadership is needed in the home, in the family, as opposed where the other time you would have a cover-up for, say, your Shrenkuru, your what. They are still there, but they are not so much involved in our lives because of how society is changing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Costa, this is now where the people that push these things sort of say that everybody who opposes them is a hypocrite, because they will ask you, why aren't you vocal about polygamy? Like, for example, you can never find people fighting and saying stop polygamy. But the moment a lady say polyandry, oh, guys are like, what? Yeah, they have been quiet. So in other words, this is the question. Is you not like, Lama was talking about the whole thing of leadership. Do you think that if you're a person that has never criticized polygamy, that takes away your moral authority or your ability to question polyandry? Do you think that is it? Or do you think polygamy is still okay, but polyandry is wrong?
Actually, this is what actually pisses me off about that. You know, I can criticize polyandry, and I
had never heard of that word until the whole.
Yes.
But was that a word before even?
Yes, it was. Okay. It has been in other church and CRE. They used to teach us about it. But I don't take polygamy as I think any person who is polygamous, personally, I don't have an issue about them.
Why?
Because I think a man is meant to provide. Now, when you say this, people think that you're being sexist. Now, this is where this is where I actually get problems.
I mean, that's not a conspiracy theory.
No, it's not a conspiracy theory. I feel the hypocrisy is not on people who are okay with polygamy and against polyandry. The hypocrisy is actually about people who are pushing for polyandry being the same people who are feminists. They think polyandry empowers a woman. And it does not.
You feel that the whole polyandry thing is based on a wrong foundation?
It's based on a wrong foundation, and they don't even know what they want. Because if you look, I was showing you a clip where a woman recorded herself sleeping with in bed with her newly born child, actually 17-month-old child. And the camera was recording how she wakes up at night, breastfeeds, how the kid turns, They are complaining about being Family people.
Family people.
A woman is complaining, I have to carry a child. I have to produce. A woman is complaining, oh, I go in my monthly whatever. Oh, I'm working too hard. I need to be free. I need to be like a man. I need to enjoy. Then you advocate for polyandry, because if we are two men and you're in, this is polyandry does not elevate a woman.
Because now, as you're concluding the whole thing you're making, they will now hit you with another question. They will be like, the two are not related. Because these days, feminists are quick at denying things. So they will tell you, I don't know if I should use that word. They will say that, okay, when was feminism birthed? Maybe about 50, 60 years ago. And they'll be like, but 100 years ago, some tribes like the Bahima. You know, not that we are dropping bombs, but they will say that some tribes, some tribes, they would be okay. We all know this. Even up to now, these things are still in existence. Whereby, let's say, a woman gets married into a family, she's married to one man, yes, but there's sort of zero grazing. Like if another male in the same family, let's say a brother to the husband, a father to the husband, he can go, and they don't have a problem with it. So it's like in the cultural context, even in the absence of the whole thing of it's empowering a lady, they are okay with it. We have never complained about it. We keep on saying, well, that's how they do their thing. Yeah. So how now do you stand against it?
You see, actually, this is actually also the mistake Elvis made.
Okay.
I have to put him on the spot. Now, he said men are okay with sharing women.
Yeah.
Now, there's a difference between marriage and sharing a woman. Now, when you see in history, you know, I'm a historian.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you see in history, the reason why men used to share women, and some tribes still share women, they would mask other weaknesses of a man.
Impotence.
Like impotence. It was a very embarrassing thing to find that a man can't produce. Then also, sex education. Your koja would first sleep with your wife. Yeah, give you practicals when you're there. And yeah, let me tell you. But in your heart, you would know that the woman would know, I'm sleeping with Constantine's brother to help Constantine.
First, wait a minute. You need to explain that. When your uncle was sleeping with your wife, you'd be there to see what actually happens.
Yeah, because you would be a virgin. You would have not gotten chance to actually see how it is done.
There was no porn.
There was no porn. But here kids are watching porn by 6. Now, what people are mistaking in this crucial, and I think I should bring it out. Yeah. What people are mistaking with polyandry and men knowing that they are sharing women, I'm telling you, marriage comes with extra responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we shall put, I remember in Needed Report when it had started, you are teaching us on the 5 or 4 F's. There was fun, finance.
The real talk, not Needed Report.
No, the real talk, when Lama and Docas.
Well, you call it a Needed Report.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the real talk, they were talking about the F's.
Faith. Finances. The last one. What was the last
Fellowship. Now, when it comes to women and finance, this is where the point is. You have 2 men. Now, when you marry, in any context, and you're the head of the family, because now when you're marrying, you're taking in responsibility. That's why on divorce, when you're a man and you marry, and the wife is divorcing you, she takes things because
there are some things that genders get away with. Yes, you cannot be a man and you're like, well, why don't I take 80%?
No. This is now where I see the hypocrisy. Me, I'm telling them, if you marry 2 men, first of all, I think if men in South Africa are married, they should not go to work. Or when they work, they keep their money. They don't share that money. They don't provide, because when you marry me, you are providing for me. Men should not build in South Africa. Men in South Africa don't build houses. When a woman marries you, she should buy transport money. She should, when she calls you for a booty call when you're dating.
Oh wow.
She like a transport.
No, because it is not going to stop.
Yeah. On a nutshell, to conclude this, women are not made. Whether spiritually, physically, like biologically, they are not made to give. women are made in the whole sense of receiving.
She picks you up and she takes you on a date and she drops you. She will feel bad.
She will feel bad. Even adult women. You see other women, I have not gotten a chance for a man to buy me something because every man I date thinks I have a lot of money.
Okay. Now Elvis needs to jump in. Yes. That you shall add on. Elvis, he's bringing something that we tend to ignore, but we clearly see it. For example, there is a doctor, he's called Jordan Peterson, and he was explaining that sometimes there are some jobs that have to be based on gender. He gave an example. There is no one person that is going to take their child to a kindergarten where everyone is a guy. How are men going to handle those kids with their unknowing pooping on themselves? It's a lady. And then because he said that men are interested in things, women are interested in people. If you go, he did a research, he said even the most liberal countries or the countries which have gender equality, when you go to hospitals, nurses tend to be ladies because they have that patience. If a guy tells you twice to take your medicine and you refuse, it's like you die. And he goes away, you get. So now this psychology that Constantine is bringing in, it's easy to ignore it, but honestly, I don't see when a guy can be at work and 3 ladies are calling him, they're like, we need money, and somehow he'll be okay sending money. But I'm picturing a lady and 4 men are asking for things. Do you think the feminine psychology and the masculine psychology, they can permit the same approach to relationships?
Well, like he said, he said he'd stop working, stay home, want transport when he has to go.
I want money for boxers. I want money for stockings.
Jeez. Okay, so for me, it can work out. Yeah, let's say. No. By the time you're allowed to be in the mix, before putting forth your your demand, it doesn't mean you have to now become a woman. Or in that sense of saying, okay, now you want to also be just there and be receiving. You come to an understanding, right? You understand that there's another guy on the other side, right? And you know him. So the 3 of you have to understand if it comes to like the financial bit, right? All 3, okay. Because now, for you, I feel like you're putting this on the woman now.
Yes, she's the family head.
No, wait, who said that makes her the family head?
Elvis, you're being theoretical. This is what I actually believe, and as you're going to be wrapping up, we don't date based on some sort of constitution about dating. We date based on how we are made in our DNA to date. A man approaches a relationship as a man. A woman approaches a relationship as a woman. This is not among human beings only. We see it in all species.
Thank you.
Because there's a way how we are genetically coded. For example, even nature, to know that nature accepts, you will find that in maybe, let's say, wildlife, the males will get bright colors because that woos the lady. So now, so when you bring it to human beings,
the human being is more advanced.
So you say that you can actually.
That's what the baboons tell themselves. We are the most advanced.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we are more evolved. We're more evolved than the bird that has to, just sprout its colorful things or something to impress.
You have to do a demonstration, but we get
That makes it sound as if advancement means confusion.
Confusion, isn't it? Yeah.
It's not confusion.
Okay, honestly, it's not. But you can come to an understanding, and say, okay, things to do with rent. First of all, I don't think you'd be living together.
That's it.
Marriage means living together. It's marriage.
No, okay, fine.
You have to move in.
Okay.
But polygamy men don't do that.
I mean, like, at least the woman has to pay rent for you. She comes to Momakage. Then she goes there.
Okay, good. If the woman, if you put forth that and your woman accepts that, then it's fine. If another woman can't take on all your demands like that, and then still, and you want to be with her as well, also knowing that, okay, there's another guy who also wants, you're in the mix, right? You have to adjust and say, okay, fine, maybe I'll also chip in a bit, you also chip in a bit. I don't know where you're going to get the money, whether you get from the other side,
Lama, there's something that you say, right?
Evolution is
sometimes, right?
It's confusion. I get to get
confusion. But this is what I've always, and we talk about this is what I've already talked, right? A lot of people talk about the head of a family in the context of a man is made to provide. But then there are very many cases whereby a man just some men don't even have that in themselves to want to provide. Their mindset is changed. I don't know if it's because of how they are raised, I don't know if it's because of whatever, but their men now want to be like trophy husbands. They go to the gym, have a beautiful body, and then they look, women get them, you know. So it's like maybe society would always be easy to organize if there weren't cases of people who are like misfits. I don't know if I'm using that word, if that's a big word. Like people who are like, they can't belong in what you have agreed on, that this is the nature of society. They are always on the other side. These things have happened throughout history. Here people talk about some of the greatest inventors like Da Vinci, how they had this whole private life. Because they, for some reason they couldn't fit into what church and culture had agreed upon. Now that said, when we go to interpret these things based on sometimes like culture or biblical contexts or faith or whatever someone believes in, sometimes you find that the books that we use to interpret spirituality, like I said, the Bible, the Quran, at the time they were written, there is a whole world that has evolved after them. Now, yes, a lot of their values tend to, there's that you have to give credit to the Bible or the Quran for how really they're relevant after all those thousands of years. But now, like, all the time, like, I don't know where it is in the Bible where it says a woman shall not take more than two husbands, or it actually debunks it. So now it's like, how then do we have a spiritual stand on that? Or is there something that we are missing? So those are two questions.
I believe when you talk about family, the leadership of a man is clear. I think we had a conversation of where it's a man and a woman relate because of the uniqueness in their nature. Okay? When I think for me the whole argument about women emancipation and all that, it's as old as man himself, really.
You have already said it. You think that it's outside the marriage, like you feel.
No, if you see how the Bible, for example, you've mentioned the Jewish culture, in women were really at the bottom of society. Even when you see Christ entering the scene, you see him rectifying so many things. Even when, for example, the story of the woman at the well, it wasn't an everyday thing where, you know, a man would be with a woman that way, respectful that way. So it's sort of like see even Christ himself trying to rectify the wrong culture back then. When you move in to the New Testament, where Peter talks of treat women as a weaker vessel, for me, I think it's more of where you're saying, as a believer today, is that whole thing of saying, man, as a husband, I should love my wife even with the recognition of already knowing society has always belittled her. Okay,
It wasn't.
I should act differently based on the fact that, for example, where she's coming all from, whether it's workplaces and all these things, from time immemorial, women have always been downtrodden on.
So you feel that verse is an affirmative action verse?
Affirmative action is good, but where the problem came in is where now it turned out into where the equality you're talking about is ideally turning a woman into a man. Okay? Which then actually ended up, because of the so much effort that was put on it, it ended up even confusing the men.
Even the women themselves.
Okay? The confusion is there.
That is sexist.
Yeah, what I'm meaning is where, okay, there is lack of equality, but not to the sense of where for them to be equal, they have to be men. Okay? No, it was just a question of roles.
In other words, the role of a man and the role of the women are both equally respected. Not saying that
yes,
what a woman is doing is little.
Is little, no. And then, I mean,
but
think
it was
about,
not about us doing what the other does.
What can you equate about, you know, something like giving birth? For me, that's a powerful thing. That's a powerful thing. You know, no matter how, no matter what we do, a man will never give birth. it's a woman who gave birth to the Savior. Yeah. God would have just chosen the guy to appear as a grown-up guy. But he came as a seed in the womb of a woman. That to me puts the women at a whole different angle. Okay? So the affirmative action was good, but then it was sort of like waylaid and turned into where equality means becoming a man and more. Okay? Then it's the lie got so believable where even the men get confused of, okay, then that means if there is equality, I can easily become a woman. So there is a loss of there's loss of identity, there's confusion. The biggest loneliness or a soul being lost is when you're so lost to the extent that you can't even identify your gender.
You don't know who you are.
You don't really know who you are.
We like to pretend like when someone says that they have said the unsayable, yes, but honestly to be born into this world and you look at yourself and you don't know what you are.
And in all honesty, we are not saying these feelings that you're feeling, that you're not feeling them. No, we know they are there, but we call them what they are. You're confused. Okay? How can we help you? Not how can we support you? Okay.
Well, you're going to be cancelled.
So I know those are sensitive lines, and in all honesty, even people like that, society haven't even listened to them. We've even in places where they're supposed to receive help. A church is supposed to be a hospital.
Yes.
Right now, this now one is about race, where you're born
yes, you hear the narrative, for example, that is coming in. It's more as if like the door is already closed. That's sort of like in some conversations when even we talk about it as Christians, that's how it portrays to them of okay, you're not even welcome here. Okay, so but to answer your question, affirmative action I think was good and needed. Even Christ did affirmative action, interacted with women. They were on his team, much as they didn't become disciples. Then someone actually comes in, hey, how come we don't have women on the 12 disciples? It then goes back into the woman has to be a man and more. No, it's about roles and respecting each other's roles, and then seeing the value in them. Example I've just given again is giving birth. That's secret.
But right now, to know that the world has changed, some women are against it. They ask that why should the woman be the one to carry the child? Why can't Elvis carry a child? Oh, well, they can put it with that. Anyway, the second part of the question was if there is actually like a clear biblical mention against something like that of polyandry, or if there is.
I absolutely believe, man, the Bible is straight up. God created them male and female. And a man leaves his home and goes to be united with a woman, with a wife, and they become one. Okay? But for me, when even in picking out scripture to support what is the right thing, it's that whole borderline of people twisting scripture, and then you support your debate regarding them. But scripture is beyond words. These are spiritual truth. They cannot be understood by.
In other words, what you're saying is, if someone really was spiritual and they prayed about it, they would know.
Because it's not about where you go. Where is it on the list? I mean, something like, for example, family planning. Okay.
It's not on
you won't go into scripture and say, but scripture reveals to a human being who they are and who their creator is, which then gives them access to wisdom on how to maneuver life.
So family planning was in the Bible. I thought it's like you shall take the morning after.
We shall take, so wisdom is the key thing. The more you engage these truths in the recognition that they are beyond words. These are truths that are revealed by the author himself. Then you're given wisdom to maneuver life. Yeah.
So as we are summarizing, my last thoughts about this whole thing is, I'm a person that is pro one man, one woman. Because I was telling some friend of mine, I told him that this is going to end up creating a paradox. Because now polygamy is legal, polyandry is legal. What if a woman takes 2 husbands? Then along the way, the man is like, I also need 2 wives. Then one of the other wives of the man who was married and now has 2 wives also says, I need 2 husbands. So in other words, you find that there are like 7 husbands and 5 wives, So I think personally, I think that I know that even here, like we know that a lot of people come from polygamous families, but I've always felt that if it's one man, one wife, and you have children, even when you ask really people who have a lot of people like to say polygamy is normal, but when you really sit down with a man who has many wives, and you only is it a problem is that we don't look at these things like with truthfulness. You talk to someone who has children with more than one woman, and you really talk to them. Oh man, you really talk to them and they tell you like, you know what? On second thought, if I was to go back in time, I'll probably get the one I like the most and have all the children with them. But hey, but they say life is hard. Osadin, what are your parting shots?
My parting shots, I'll give them in 2 bullets.
Okay. You don't have 1 hour.
Oh, okay. First of all, polygamy has been there.
Okay.
That's why in local languages we have even polyandry is not alien, because now we have like musanjiwo. That's a man who's a co-man, a co-husband.
Sound like Museveni explaining.
But now, as I conclude this, our viewers have to take one. Marriage is not dating. So when you say a woman marries two men, marriage comes with...
But first what we are misunderstanding it. Are they saying that a woman is going to have to be the head of 2 families, or they are saying that all those men will be the heads of the family that she has with them?
No. Then that becomes she's their prostitute or their slut. What they're saying, when they say a woman marries 2 husbands, it means she's the head. That's what it means. Now, I'm telling them that means marriage comes with responsibilities and terms and conditions.
Because honestly, if a woman comes in my home and I'm the head of the family, then she goes there, the other is also the head of, so she submits to 2 men.
2 men. This is women misusing.
Some women.
Yeah, this is some women misusing the blessing and the grace of emancipation. It is no longer emancipation, it is rivaling.
Rebellion.
Yeah, rivaling and rebellion. Rebellion is one of the worst sins.
Oh, wow.
And rebellions are crushed. Now, I'm not advocating for anything violent or what, but what I'm saying is that marriage, viewers of the Real Talk have to know that marriage, you come, you choose a man, provide for him the basic needs: food, shelter, upkeep, transport, dressing, medical. I will fall sick and I call you, hello baby. I'll call you, hello baby, I'm sick. So women, before they embrace this, they will start to kill themselves. Suicidal rate will be high in South Africa. Men this will be so bad, it will be like a genocide. But as I conclude, not take a lot of time, I want people to see marriage in its terms and conditions.
Okay.
Why I'm against this is because when people see it on face value, they see it as a relationship or as a sex fantasy. No, marriage has terms, conditions, provide, educate, and take care of someone. Thank you so much. Alice is itching.
So what are your parting shots, Elvis?
Me?
Yeah.
Marry the men you want. As long as you all have and you know, like a common ground of understanding of how, you know, this provides for this and that and that. If you have figured that out, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's okay.
But a little bit better. What if she marries a man and a woman? If she's a lesbian and she marries a fellow woman, she marries a man.
Because I believe it's not. I believe it's not like mandatory. If your woman says she wants to marry another woman or another man, I don't think it's not okay for you to say, okay, I don't want.
Wow.
Elvis
No,
is
you
Gen Z.
No,
Like
I-
Generation
no. I believe you can back out of it if you feel you don't want it, right? You can back out of it and say, no, I don't want
Z.
that.
So you can be the one person that divorces out of 5 husbands.
Exactly. So you can leave. Yeah.
You see why Lama goes into confusion? Lama, yeah. Give us your parting shots and then you sign out the show.
We can laugh these things off, but at the end of the day, all these things, God is a God of order. A human being left on his own is total confusion.
I think
Is
is
really
enough evidence.
Yes, is total confusion. We for lack of a better word, we're yet to see. But me, I have hope. I'm very optimistic that there are people who are living these values that God has given us, these principles, and the time will tell. Time will tell. Yeah.
Over to you, Lama.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you listening and view and share, comment. Salute to TESOL Hub. Salute to the production team. Till next time. God bless you.